God, the Lionesses suck, don't they? Hello and welcome to Rugby League Happening, the series that goes into the happenings in Rugby League. It's pretty self-explanatory. Vegas happened. Let's get into that. The second edition of Rugby League in Las Vegas has happened, and honestly, I quite liked it. There was some bit of bra moments that we'll have to get into. Obviously, the opening match, which was the Super League game between Wigan and Warrington, it did end up getting close to near the end, but of course, Wigan had to showcase why they have been the number one team in England for the last couple of years. Very interested to see what happens in Good Friday when both them and St Helens clash, because that's going to be a beautiful game. First NRL match, Canberra versus the Warriors. I was taken aback. Raiders came to play and the Warriors just didn't. Very good performances around. Xavier Savage, oh boy, he's good. I've even seen some people after this game talk about how he could end up getting an Origin selection. Wouldn't be against it. Wouldn't be against that at all. Absolutely brilliant player. Morgan Smithies also did all right. Corey Horsburgh did a lot as well. But for the Warriors, I mean, Tuivasa-Sheck was a bit of a shell of his former self. I completely forgot James Fisher-Harris was in the game at points. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's only round one, so you never really know. And then you've obviously had the Penrith-Cronulla game, very close game between two of the top teams of the comp, and Penrith were able to scrub out to get to the opening win. Love their jerseys. But now we talk about the main event, of course, which was the Gillaroos against England. Now, I'm, for one, really like women's sports, where it's being rugby league, soccer, whatever. I really like it. No, I'm not a simp. And so, with the first showing of women's rugby league at this Vegas contract, we saw Australia take on England. I was like, oh, this should be a really interesting match. And calling it a match is a little bit disrespectful. In a scoreline which has been described by me as a bad cricket score, Australia won 90-4. Look, I'm surprised the NRL even had the gall to actually put the highlights on YouTube, because, I mean, for a type of content like that, Live League would probably have been a better place. And obviously this is talked about, well, crap, we can't really do an international game for the women because Australia are just that far ahead of everybody. I mean, you could probably get a closer match out of New Zealand, but it's just, the Australia team's full of too much talent. Now to the point where they're going to roll it back and only have 3 games, which doesn't have the women's game, which I think is a bit unfortunate, because I have a proposition to fix this. If you want to showcase the absolute best in women's rugby league, State of Origin. Now, this doesn't have to be a part of the actual series. This could just be like a one-off, like they did back in the late 80s in Los Angeles with the men's State of Origin. You just have New South Wales and Queensland, all full of Australian talent, which obviously is from the national team, so they've already got the best players in the world. You know, show an absolute bit of ticker about it. Like, I just think that would work. Now we move on to a little bit of more of a serious tone in terms of this is obviously the situation that is happening in southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales with Cyclone Alfred coming in. This has had an effect on both the NRL and AFL, with the NRL match between the Dolphins and South Sydney being moved to Combank Stadium in Parramatta, just for obviously, because I mean, that area is going to get absolutely smacked, unfortunately. And as of yesterday, late yesterday, the AFL games are meant to be part of the opening round there, have also been postponed. But it did take a bit. Like, there was still talks of, oh yeah, they might still play, but like Brisbane Lions players were literally sandbagging their own houses, and I do feel like as well, I can understand some of the arguments like, oh, the game should just be postponed rather than moved down to New South Wales because it's the players abandoning their families during this unknowing time, which I very much understand that, and it's kind of valid. I guess it's like flip of the coin, but yeah, in genuine serious, everyone in there, please stay safe. You just don't know what weather is going to be like, especially for a tropical cyclone. So yeah, hopefully all the best. Thoughts and prayers. Now we're going to go into a little bit of Team List Wednesday. They don't come out on Tuesday. Shut up. But obviously we're going to be looking at some of the teams. So for the Roosters, you've got some new players coming in. You've got Nwanga Nitawasi coming in for his second game. He did have a little bit of a calf issue against the Knights, but he is fit and healthy to go against the Broncos. Excited to see he's going to be brilliant. And for the Broncos, the return of one of the greatest players in rugby league, Jermat Shibasaki, is starting at centre. Like, we are so back. And I'm being genuinely serious. I'm not being sarcastic at all. Literally, I went all over him trying to find him in Japan, and now he's in Brisbane. It's like, well, I shouldn't have flown all the way there. But yeah, the Brisbane are going to be quite interesting to see how they do line up. Dean Mariner as well in the centres. Be pretty cool. Corey Pye, fucking at the hooker. Mate, we're set. We're fine in the West. Now we go into moving on to the other games on Friday. We've got the hyped up, galvanised, new look West Tigers against the downtrodden, most disrespected team in rugby league history in the Newcastle Knights. Like, oh, come on. This isn't even Z-Tank talking. This is like Jesse talking. It's like, why is the Knights so disrespected? I understand we don't have the greatest team and like our half pairing keeps slipping about. We still make the finals. Despite ourselves, we still make it. What's your excuse? Other half of the comp. But the Tigers, obviously, you've got Sania Taruva starting. You've got Jerome Luai starting. Absolutely no shocks there. I think Galvin and Luai is going to be a very interesting pairing and something the Knights need to keep an eye on. For the Knights, we've already had to veto on one of our halves pairings because it was going to be Tyson Gamble was going to be our starting halfback for the year. And then he's had to have back surgery and he's now out for an extended period of time. So the injury bug has begun already. But now we have Jack Cogger playing at halfback who'll be lining up against Fletcher Sharp. Should be very interesting to see how the ball movement goes with that. James Schiller is going to get his debut with the club at wing with the number 2, right alongside Dane Gagai. And it's like with Dominic Young, you know, the veteran centre with the young gun that is the winger. It gives Adam McDougall and Achille Awate. Look that up if you're too young to realise that. Also, Tyson Frizzell at lock. He hasn't played around there that much. He has played a couple of times there with St George, but the first time playing for the Knights, as Kai Pearce-Paul and Dylan Lucas play in the second row. It's just lovely. Now we go to the final game on the Friday's team list with the Rabbitohs and Dolphins. Obviously a lot of change around, but big news for South Sydney. Campbell Graham is back. Unfortunately, Cameron Murray, we still don't know how long he's going to be. Latrell Mitchell still not fit for the game, so Jai Gray will be starting at fullback. You got Cody Walker and Jamie Humphries as the halves pairing, which should be pretty interesting to see. You've got a bunch of young guns. Honestly, just give them a shot. And I just think that this is something that the South focus will need to do in the next couple of years to start developing their players and that. And then you got the Dolphins. You got Daniel Saifidi at number 8. That's it's a Bieber doobie. Can't remember how to say your name before the crash out. But I just think the Dolphins have got a really stacked team. Gilbert, Felice Kafusi, Jeremy Marshall-King, Daniel Saifidi as a hooker is Chaos Goblin material. Isaiah Katoa, Cody Nikarima as a halves pairing. You've got the Hammer, you got Asako, you got Avarilla, you got Farnworth. That's a very solid team there. Saturday, with the Dragons and the Bulldogs, the Dragons, we get to see the boys. I actually am very excited to see how the Dragons go this year. Flanagan Ilias as the halves pairing. You got Valentine Holmes at number 4, Gutho at the 1, Damien Cook at 9, Omre Gula at 10, Luciano Leilua at 11. Mate, this is what we want to see. Jaden Stewart, Jack DeBellin. This is... People are sleeping on the Dragons, I think, this year. Kind of like they're sleeping on the Knights, but it's not really sleeping. It's just flat-out disrespect. But there's no slouching at the Bulldogs. Can't slouch at all. Connor Tracy at fullback. Bronson Seri and Stephen Crichton in the centres. Marcelo Montoya on the wing, alongside Crichton. That's dangerous. Burton and Sexton. If you combine the names, it's either Burton or Sexton. Like, whoops. You got Reid Marnie at hooker. The absolute grub that he is. But you need a mongrel like that in your team. Valami kick out, Jacob Preston, and of course the most important player on the team, Kurt Mann. You think I'm joking, I'm being actually serious. I love Kurt Mann. It's going to be an absolute battle of, like, you know, the old traditional Sydney teams. It's going to be a beautiful clash. Now the Saturday 7:35 highlight, Manly Seagulls against the North Queensland Cowboys. I have absolutely no idea where these teams are going to end up lining up in the end of the season derby, because just don't know. Big thing for Manly, all three of the Trebojeviches are playing. You got Tom at fullback, Ben in second row, and Jake at lock. It's a beautiful side with Luke Brooks and Daly Cherry Evans as the halves pairing. Probably the most underrated halves pairing in the NRL. I'll die on that hill. Mate, you're talking to me about a proper of Taniela Paseka, Jazz Tavaga, and Siasua Takiaho. Like, you're kidding me, right? Like, it's brilliant. And then you got the Cowboys. Did lose a fair amount of talent, but I mean, it's like Tom Dearden as a playmaker alongside Thomas Duffy. Be good to see how it goes. Scott Drinkwater, one of the best fullbacks in the comp. Their forward pack. Oh my lord! Give me the forward pack. They got Jordan McLean, Reece Robson, Sam McIntyre, England's own John Bateman, Jeremiah Nanai, and Ruben Cotter. Oh boy, that is a beautiful forward back. Oh man, that is delightful. There we go to the final game, the Storm against the Eels, and unfortunately for Parramatta, it's been announced that Mitchell Moses will not be available for this match. So they've been basically gone from fucked to put on the spit. Is what I'm predicting. They've still got good players. I mean, you get Zach Lomax in the centre. Should be exciting to see how he goes. Dylan Brown, a lot of questions about him. Is he coming to the beauty of the Hunter? Get him a house in, like, I don't know, Windale. Vangawi, still a good player. Junior Paulo, really good. Jermaine Hopgood, still really good lock. Really good player. Ryan Madison on the bench. With Matt Dory, pretty good impact. But we've got to talk about the Storm. Pappenhausen at fullback. Warbrick and Coates on the wings with Howarth and Meady in the centres. Munster and Hughes, honestly, probably going into this year, the best halves pairing in the NRL. Otaka Manu, Harry Grant, and Josh King as the prop hooker prop. Josh King's so good. Newcastle boy as well. Lisa Cattell, such a good second rower. And then you've got like decent players on the bench. Tui Kamika, Alec McDonald, and Tyron Wishart. Like that's really good. Going to be really hard to see Parramatta win this. And that's the end of Rugby League Happening. We'll be trying to do these every week, probably on Tuesdays in coincision with the tips and predictions. I'll be doing all of the matches for round one, or the rest of round one, on stream. So if you want to check out the streams, hit that subscriber, or just check out my Instagram, because that's where I usually post when I'm going live. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.